everyone, welcome back to our channel. So today we are making deviled eggs, but we are going to elevate them. We are going to make them and make them go to the next level. We are making these deviled eggs with crab meat. We are also going to add a little bit of paprika and a little bit of bold seasoning, just so we can take them to the next level, and that way they can be ready for you when you make them for your party, your dinner party, Easter, even Thanksgiving in the near upcoming months. And it's just a very delicious side dish that you can have, or an appetizer that you can have. All right. So let's get started, and I guarantee you, you are going to love them. And if you are new, before we start, if you are new, thank you so much for watching, and we would love for you to be part of our community. Please subscribe and also like this video so that other people can find them as well. And we are happy that you are here. So let's get started. So for this recipe, we will be using 6 eggs, and you want to make sure that you are using eggs that are absolutely old. So take your eggs, and to your boiling water, go ahead and start adding in your eggs. But be sure to be careful when you are adding in your eggs, because you don't want the water to splash and for you to get burned. To the eggs, I'm also going to add in half a teaspoon of baking soda. All right, guys, so now that we have added our eggs, now at this point, I'm going to set my timer to 10 minutes. And this will definitely allow me enough time to prepare the other ingredients that we are going to use. While the eggs are cooking, let's briefly talk about the ingredients that we'll be adding in to our crab meat. So our crab meat deviled eggs. So of course we have our crab meat, right? Now we're also going to add in some Old Bay seasoning. It doesn't have to be the spicy one. You could just get regular Old Bay seasoning. Next, we're going to add in some paprika. Now we are adding about 1 tablespoon to the mixture, and then we're going to add a little bit more towards the end when we mix up some more crab meat, just to have like a little topping on top. So we're also going to add in some red pepper flakes. Now that's absolutely not necessary. But you know we love heat, so we're going to add just a little bit of red pepper flakes. I'm using about half a teaspoon. You can use more or less. It's up to you. And we're also going to add in some Worcestershire sauce, and this is about 2 tablespoons to mix everything in. And not to mention, for the creaminess, we are also going to add in some ranch dressing to it, because we don't eat mayo at our home. If we do eat mayo, it's like the vegan version, but for this recipe, we are going to make it with ranch dressing. A great substitute would be some sour cream. You could use some heavy cream. You could also use Thousand Island dressing, any kind of dressing that you like. You could use that as well. But we find that, or at least I find that ranch dressing works well. It's nice, it's light. Oh, we are using the light version as well. So it's nice, it's light, and it doesn't overpower the rest of the ingredients that we will be adding in to our deviled eggs. But here's the thing about deviled eggs. They actually started adding mayonnaise to the deviled eggs back around 1940-ish. So it's not even something that's super old. It's just something. So it's just that they just find it easier when they mix the eggs with the cream, just to give it that creamy texture. Now the reason why it's called deviled eggs is because early on in about 1600s or so, when they used to make it, and they used to have some sort of kick to it, right? Like anything with spice back then would be considered as spicy. So anything that was spicy is considered devilish, so to speak. But anyway, so the recipe started and it continued on, and of course it has been altered, and today we love deviled eggs. So here's a little background information for you. If any of you know more about this, please let me know. All right. All right, so while the eggs are cooking, I am going to add a half a cup of ranch dressing. That way we can have it later to use. Now at this point, this is also the time that you want to make sure that you have your ice bath ready, because once the eggs are done cooking, we want to make sure that we shock the eggs. So that way it's easier for us to mix the yolk with the rest of the ingredients, and it's been nice and fluffy but creamy. Okay, so now that the eggs are done, you want to carefully take your eggs and transfer them into the ice bath. You want to make sure that your eggs are shocked, and it makes it easier for you to start with the peeling process. So we're just going to leave them here, give them a nice bath, a nice ice bath, and once we are done, we're leaving them here for about a minute or two, just so that they can cool off, and we're going to run them under the cold water, and we're going to start peeling them. So let's go ahead and take our eggs. It's been sitting here for about 2 minutes now, and let's go ahead and start with the peeling process. Now you want to make sure that you are using cold water, because this will help make it a lot easier for you to peel your eggs. Okay, so our eggs peeled beautifully. All right, so now what we're going to do, we're going to cut our eggs in half. The baking soda that we added definitely helped with the peeling process. It's not necessary, it's just something that I picked up along the way. Feel free to use it. For 6 eggs, all I did was just added half a teaspoon of baking soda. So I did end up cooking it for about 15 minutes instead of 10 minutes. All right, so go ahead and get your board, and let's start cutting these eggs in half so we can separate the white from the yolk. So look at how easy it was for us to scoop out the eggs. So now let's go ahead and build on our filling and our flavor profile for the filling. So we're going to get our eggs, and we are going to set the yolk aside and set the white aside. So to our bowl, we are going to add in half a cup of crab meat, but we are going to reserve 2 tablespoons just so we can have it as toppings on when we are done assembling our eggs. So let's go ahead and reserve 2 tablespoons so we can use later. So you want your crab meat to not only be filled with crabs, that's on the inside, but also have it topped with some crab meat as well. So we're going to set this aside and continue on with our filling. So we're going to take the rest of our crab and we're going to add it to the eggs. Okay, so now that we have added that, we're going to continue on with the building flavor and everything. So we're going to add in our ranch dressing. Perfect. So next, we're going to add in our Old Bay seasoning, and we're going to add in our paprika. You don't have to use smoked paprika, but if that's what you have on hand, go ahead and do so. And guys, don't forget, we're going to have this recipe on the description box below. Plus, it's also going to be available on our website at savorythoughts.com. We'll leave the link for you, so go ahead and click on it, print it out so you can have it for future reference. So we're going to add in 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. So our filling is going to be rich, decadent, and it's going to just be amazing. All right, so we're adding about half a teaspoon of red pepper flakes. Remember, this is completely optional. You don't have to use it. So now, instead of whisking, we're going to stir, 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 just to make sure that everything is done and everything is neatly incorporated. You can also make this recipe ahead of time. So let's say you're having a dinner party the next day. You can make this up to 2 days ahead of time, just as long as you cover it neatly and you put it in a container that is refrigerator safe and also that is airtight. And if you want to jazz these up a little bit more, you can definitely add some chives to this, make it nice and pretty, because anything green looks pretty. And you can also add some shaved cheese to this Parmesan cheese works well with this recipe. Now it's going to be lumpy, and that's okay. You just want to make sure that you get a beautiful mixture and your flavor is amazing. You want your deviled eggs to be the talk of the show. My kids love this recipe. All right, so you want to make sure that you get it as creamy as possible, and it's actually best if you take the yolk and you break the yolk apart first, but we didn't do that here. So, all right, so once we are done, take it and put it aside. And we are going to take our reserved crab meat and we are going to jazz this up as well. So we're going to add about half a teaspoon of oil. And we are going to add in our Old Bay seasoning. This is 1 teaspoon of Old Bay seasoning. And we are going to add 1 teaspoon of paprika. This is just so that we can make it nice and pretty. All right, and give it some color as well. So we're just going to gently put this on top as garnish. And we're also going to finish it up with some chives on top, just to make it look nice and pretty. So we're going to slice it into small pieces. When I cook, I like to cook with anything red and anything green. It makes it look nice and pretty. It's great for presentation. So once you're done, go ahead and set that aside, and we will be using this later on for our garnish. Okay, so let's go ahead and fill these babies up. Now, you can use a spoon and fill them up with a spoon, or if you really want to get fancy, go ahead and use a piping bag and fill it up. That way, give it more of an elegant look. But I am going to use a piping bag. But you still want to pipe it. You can also use any plastic Ziploc bag. Okay? Bring it down slightly. I like to twist it around, making sure that all the filling starts to come down. And to help it out, I'm going to start cutting it as well. Let's see. There you go. And we are going to pipe. Okay. You can add as much as you'd like or as little as you'd like. Be sure to use an opening that is wide because you want the crab meat to have room to come around and go through the piping bag. And once you are done, just repeat the process with the remaining eggs. I like to go in and top them off just a little bit more. That way it's filled nice and everyone gets a nice healthy serving. So at this point, I'm going to add our reserved crab meat. So I'm going to use 2 forks to help me out. Just to add in the little finishing touches. You don't need a lot, just a little bit. You could even sprinkle some red pepper flakes on top when you are finished, just to jazz it up. And if you're making this for a dinner party, I would recommend that before you start adding in your filling, you rinse out your eggs because you want your eggs to be nice and white, and it just helps with the whole presentation. I already dirtied one, so which means that's going to be for me to taste later on. So now we're going to add our garnish. Green makes everything look so beautiful. Try to have it on top. If you have those little kitchen gadgets, go ahead and use those because using our hands is not working well. And we are done. If you have any more filling left, go ahead and use that. You can make a nice sandwich out of it, or you can even add it to your salad. It's absolutely delicious. So let's go ahead and take one of these babies. Make sure that it's perfect. I think this one, the one that dirty, is the one I'm going to use. All right. You taste all of the flavor from the Old Bay seasoning. You taste the ranch dressing. It's a beautiful combination. It has a nice kick, but it's not overpowering. It's one of those appetizers that you just want to walk around with. If you're serving it as a hors d'oeuvre, you can definitely walk around with it. It just sits in your hands pretty well. It's a delicious finger food, so definitely give it a try. The full recipe is on the website, guys, at savorythoughts.com, and it's absolutely free. Plus, I'm going to have the full recipe below. Please give it a thumbs up. Definitely subscribe, and I will see you next video. Cheers.